the Quail Lodge with the CEO of Porsche Cars North America. His name is Detlev von Platen. Detlev, thank you for joining us.
Very nice to meet you.
The question is, where did you start, Detlev? Because we've all started somewhere, and we all have our beginnings. To be the president and CEO of a car company like Porsche, did you ever intend to have this job? Probably not.
No, very simple. I mean, I was raised and born in France with German parents. This explains a little bit my French accent, trying to speak English here.
Yeah.
And in Paris, did a business MBA, and was always attracted by the cars. And my father wasn't working in this area, but I wanted to start there, and I had the chance to start as an internship at BMW motorcycle, which actually was very good because, you know, in these small entities you get a lot of responsibility very young.
And so how old were you?
I was 24.
Wow.
So, and I did it for 2 years with a great gentleman, and got the opportunity to move to Germany very quickly, to the headquarters in Munich for BMW, and I will always remember this day. I was supposed to get a job in New York for the BMW motorcycle department there, and the export manager said to me, listen, we might have another plan for you. We need to open new markets in Asia, in Africa, and in South America, and I mean Europe is done. And so I had this unique occasion where the guy said, listen, you are two to do the rest of the world.
Two guys.
Two guys, and I wasn't the guy who has traveled much at that time.
Yeah, you were 24 years
I was
old,
24
right?
years old, just coming out of the university, and he said, the other guy is older, so he will have the first choice. The guy said, okay, I'm taking South America. And I was just looking at this moment and say, I can choose one part of the world.
World.
Yes, so I took, for the sake of it, I took Southeast Asia.
Right.
And Africa.
So walk me through the years now. When do you go to Porsche?
So BMW motorcycles, and I went to BMW Motorsport, what head of communication, still very young. And one of the projects was to introduce the M3 in the United States.
Wow.
Big project.
Yeah.
And then one day I got a phone call from one guy from Porsche saying, we're looking for somebody to lead the brand in France. And we would be interested to have you there. And I really was thinking, wow, I'm 31 years old, I have no clue. And I went to France. I remember this day where I was going through the Porsche department there and had, I don't know, 50, 60 people looking at me. Closed the door of my office, and I was saying to me, so what is the next point here? And so it started. And this is for 10 years in France until I got the chance to move to the United States. Big honor, big privilege, because the United States, as you know, is the biggest market for Porsche worldwide.
Yeah.
By far. And I have the chance with a wonderful team to lead this destiny here.
So at the end of the day, you're really an entrepreneur. I mean,
Absolutely.
You've been given the freedom to be an
Yes,
entrepreneur.
That's a nice thing about Porsche.
Yeah. And BMW too, though.
And BMW too. And
wow.
I arrived here, leaving France. You know, it's a complicated country in France. They're all complaining all the time. And I was going to the United States and saying, wow, this country is so positive. Everybody can make something, and let's go and do it. Arrived here in April 2008. April 2008, where everything went south. We lost 40% of our business within 6 months.
Yeah.
And you know, all the bad things, you have some good things, and it gave us the opportunity to push the reset button.
Yeah.
Start with nice visions. One of the examples is that we are now just finishing a complete new headquarter in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Very unique in the industry because you don't have only the offices, you will have a test track, a business center, a restaurant, a museum. We're doing exactly the same in Los Angeles. And I'm very proud not only to make some sales and to talk to dealers, but to leave a legacy here with something which will exist for the next 50 years. And that's amazing.
You know, it's so interesting to find out that everyone starts somewhere, and you never set out to be the guy you are today. It just started happening, and you just had to deal with it in the moment, right?
Yeah.
And To whom much is given, much is expected. Where did you draw from when you were in the difficult times? 2008.
I think you have to be really pragmatic. You don't learn this.
Right.
You don't get it in school.
That's right.
You have to sit down. You have to have a proper plan in place. You have to under-promise and to over-deliver. Because there is one thing which is very important. I keep saying this to my guys all the time. If you are one of the biggest subsidiary for a big manufacturer like Porsche or Volkswagen or these guys, you need one thing, which is credibility. When you talk to our dealers, these are not employees. These are all employees, entrepreneurs, putting their own money there.
Yeah.
And you need to make them confident that they have to invest in something very important in a situation where they would do everything else, not investing, being careful, and so on. And we did this. So you have to believe in what you do. You have to be credible, because credibility brings freedom in the big groups, very important.
Yeah.
Freedom to undertake something is very important, and you have to anticipate. And maybe one thing I've learned outside of the business is something I did when you hear this helicopter. I decided one day to learn to fly. So I'm a private pilot, and this is my private meditation. When I have 10, 11, 12 hours in the office, then I leave the office and I go in my plane at night and I'm flying 2 hours. This is the best moment
There you go.
to get energy back.
That's your Zen place.
What I've learned by flying is this is the first thing you learn when you get in a plane, is you need to fly in advance of your plane. Because if you fly the moment, you don't look at what can happen in 2 minutes from now.
You're looking at history. If you're only reacting to what's right in front of you, by the time you can react, it's already behind you.
Exactly. So you have always to fly 2 minutes in advance.
Yeah.
This training helped me, maybe,
Yeah, in business.
to conduct my business a little bit better.
Credibility. Under promise, over deliver. Find that meditative place. Whether for me, it's the drive. I love to drive. I get out there and I can think. You got to have that little escape. Detlev, thank you.
My pleasure.
We all start somewhere. Now you know where Detlev von Platen started. Appreciate that.